True Sports episode 80 is on the air. I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenor. So, a lot of NFL games that transpired this Sunday. Um, but how about them Cowboys?
Yeah, the Giants' home turf. I would have thought with the weather conditions and everything, it'd be the home advantage for the Giants. Not to be, it just went completely reverse. I did not see this coming. I knew that the Cowboys would win, but I didn't think they'd just blow them out and embarrass the Giants in their own home field. The Big Blue Wrecking Crew was nothing more than just a big wreck.
Yeah, more like a train wreck, or even
Yes,
worse than that.
can't do much worse than that.
Cowboys came to play. The Giants
Yeah, they sure
decided
did.
decide, decided not to. The Giants decided not to show up at all.
They didn't. They looked flat right from the get go. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
Daniel
right from
Daniel Jones is awful.
I know. They're going for the field goal. It looked like an easy one. And then Dallas blocked it. And from there, it just went downhill straight from there. They never recovered.
Yeah, it just
Wow.
Giants just couldn't get past one, get their just couldn't get their heads past one play. They just couldn't,
Yeah.
overcome their emotions.
My brother in law and nephew are not happy right now. Oh, boy.
No,
They're Giants fans.
and we still got Monday night football games, like two of them tomorrow night. But
I think it's one.
we're oh, hold on, just
Yeah.
hold on. Let me check the guide real fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's just the Bills and Jets. My bad.
Yeah. A little skeptic about that, though, tomorrow because the Bills always give us a tough time no matter where we play. Whether we play on their turf or ours, they always give us a rough time. So I'm a little skeptic about this.
Yeah, just the Bills and Jets.
Yeah.
But that being said, let's recap those NFL games with your True Sports Report. Go ahead.
You got, and all the rest of the stuff as well. All right, the first Sunday in the NFL has been completed, and we go down like this. Starting off, the Falcons over the Panthers, 24 to 10, much to my surprise. Young had 146 yards passing, two interceptions, and a touchdown. Aguilar had 15 carries, 75 yards, and two touchdowns. And Pitts, the tight end, had 44 receiving yards. In the Battle of Ohio, the Browns over the Bengals 24 to 3. Watson had 154 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Nick Chubb, 106 rushing yards, 18 carries, and Eric Moore had 43 receiving yards. Jaguars over the Colts 31-21, much to my surprise. Uh, Lawrence had 241 passing yards, two touchdowns, and an interception. Italian Jr., running back, 77 yards rushing, 18 carries, and one touchdown. And Ridley had 101 receiving yards and one touchdown. The Bucks over the Vikings, 20-17. Cousins had 344 passing yards, two touchdowns, and an interception. White had 39 rushing yards and 17 carries, and Jefferson had 150 receiving yards. The Saints edged a win over the Titans 16-15. Derek Carr had 305 passing yards, one touchdown, one interception. Derrick Henry had 63 rushing yards on 15 carries, and Olave had 112 receiving yards. I knew this would be a blowout as the 49ers beat up on the Steelers 30-7. I'm not surprised at all. Kenny Pickett had 232 passing yards, two interceptions, and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey had 152 rushing yards, 22 carries, and one touchdown. And Ayuk had 129 receiving yards and two touchdowns. I'm sure Big Ed is happy over his son. Oh, yeah. Commanders over the Cardinals, 20-16. No surprise here. Howell had 202 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Connor, 62 rushing yards, 14 carries, and Samuel, 54 receiving yards. Ravens over the Texans, 25-9. Stroud, 242 passing yards. Lamar Jackson had 38 yards on 6 carries, and Collins had 80 receiving yards. Packers over the Bears, 38-20. Love had 245 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Fields had 59 rushing yards on 9 carries, and Jones had 88 receiving yards on 1 touchdown. Hey, maybe they can do it without Rodgers. We'll see. Raiders edged over the Broncos 17-16. Garoppolo, 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Williams, 52 rushing yards on 13 carries, and Myers had 81 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Eagles over the Patriots, 25-20. Jones had 315 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Gainwell, 54 rushing yards on 14 carries, and A.J. Brown, 78 receiving yards. Dolphins as the Chargers, 36-34. Tua Tagovailoa, 466 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Eckler, 117 rushing yards on 16 carries and a touchdown. And Hill, 215 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Wow. Rams over the Seahawks, 30-13. Matthew Stafford, 334 passing yards. Walker had 64 rushing yards and 12 carries, and Atwell, 119 receiving yards. And finally, those of you who just watched this sham of a game, the Cowboys all over the Giants, 40-0.
40-0.
40-0. Dak Prescott, 143 passing yards. Pollard had 70 yards rushing on 14 carries and 2 touchdowns, and Lamb had 77 receiving yards. And tomorrow the Jets will take on the Bills at 8:15. I'm a little worried about this. Oh boy. But we'll see what happens. Wish me luck. Alright, so now we turn over to the Diamond here, as we're now 3 weeks away from ending the regular season of 2023. So, it goes this way. The Marlins over the Phillies 5-4. The Tigers over the White Sox 3-2. By the way, Robertson got the win. Dominguez got the loss, and Scott got the save for the Marlins. Gibson Long got the win. Showens got the loss, and Lang got the save as the Tigers beat the White Sox 3-2. The Rays double up on the Mariners 6-3. Eflin got the win, Miller got the loss, and Fairbanks got the save. Red Sox over the Orioles 7-3. Bello got the win, Rodriguez got the loss. Dodgers over the Nationals 7-3. Sirio got the win, and Williams got the loss. 5-13. Very interesting game here, as the Yankees beat the Brewers 4-3 in 13 innings. The Yankees didn't get the first one to the 11th inning, and then scored a home run, and then took it to the 13th, their longest game of the year. Mayswick got the win, and Minor got the loss. Braves over the Pirates 5-2. Hand got the win, Selby got the loss, and Iglesias got the save. Blue Jays over the Royals 5-2. Berrios got the win, Clark got the loss, and Romano got the save. Reds over the Cardinals 7-1. Green got the win, Mikolas got the loss. Mets over the Twins 2-0. Rayleigh got the win, Jax got the loss, and Octavio got the save. But they're still in a lot of trouble, folks. Astros down the Padres 12-2. France got the win. Waldron got the loss. Cubs over the D-backs 5-2. Hendricks got the win. Mantiply got the loss, and Merriweather got the save. Rangers over the A's 9-4. Heaney got the win, and Bendia got the loss. Angels over the Guardians 2-1. Rosenberg got the win. Phoebe got the loss, and Estevez got the save. And finally, The Giants over the Rockies 6-3. Wynn got the win. Lambert got the loss, and Duvall got the save. Wynn got a win. I like that. Ah, boy.
Nice
All
ring
right,
to it.
so yeah, it does. Shocking, isn't it? All right, so we'll go to the standings, and it goes like this. In the East, it's now 90-52 for the Orioles, a 3-game lead with the Rays at 88-56. The Blue Jays 80-63, 10.5 games back. The Red Sox 73-70 are 17.5 back, and the Yankees are 71-72, 19.5 back. In the AL Comedy Central, the Twins are the only team above 500 at 75-68. The Guardians are 68-76, 7.5 back. The Tigers 66-77, 9 back. The White Sox are now eliminated at 55-88, 20 back, and the Royals eliminated at 44-100, 31.5 back. To the West, the Astros 82-62 have a 2.5 game lead over the Rangers at 79-64. The Mariners, rather. The Rangers are right behind them at 78-64, 3 games back. The Angels pretty much out of it now at 67-77, 15 back. And the A's, of course, are out at 44-99, 37.5 back, and don't have a prayer. To the National League, yep, the Braves have already clinched a spot. 93-49 have a whopping 15-game lead over the Phillies at 78-64. The Marlins 19.5 back at 74-69. The Mets 65-77, 28 back, and the Nationals 29.5 back at 64-79. Pretty much done. To the Central, the Brewers are 79-63, have a 3-game lead over the Cubs at 77-67. The Reds are 74-71, 6.5 back. The Pirates 66-77, 13.5 back, and the Cardinals 16.5 back at 63-80. To the West, the Dodgers 87-55 are a 13-game lead with the D-backs at 75-69. The Padres are 73-70, 14.5 back. The Padres are 67-77, 21 back, and the Rockies eliminated at 51-91, 36 back. All right, let's go to the schedule tomorrow. And it runs this way. To start off at 105, which I think is a makeup game. Oh, a doubleheader game. The Braves will take on the Phillies at 105 and at 6:40 as well. Your 6:35 games are the Cardinals versus the Orioles. The Nationals taking on the Pirates. 7:07, the Rangers take on the Blue Jays. 7:10 games are the D-backs at the Mets. The Red Sox the Yankees at the Red Sox. Yuck. 7:40, we got the Royals taking on the White Sox. The Marlins taking on the Brewers. And the Rays taking on the Twins. 8:10, A's take on the Astros. 8:40, the Cubs take on the Rockies. 9:40, the Angels take on the Mariners. 9:45, the Guardians take on the Giants. And at 10:10, the Padres take on the Dodgers. That's going to be a mismatch. Yeah. All right. Well, the WNBA is done with their schedule, so I'll just read down the scores here for this. As the Wings over the Atlanta Dream 94-77. The Chicago Sky over Connecticut Sun 102-91 overtime. The Indiana Fever over the Minnesota Lynx 87-72. The Mystics over my New York Liberty 90-88. Thank you very much, jerk. The Aces over the Mercury 100-85. And the LA Sparks just over the Storm 91-89.
Close one.
And yep, and the Aces clinched number one overall seed in the WNBA playoffs as the Liberty lost in a close one to Washington. So that was nip and tuck all the way through. But still, by far, this is the best season the Liberty ever had. And to make matters even worse, The Aces clinched number one after defeating the Aces clinched number one seed in the WNBA playoffs after Washington Mystics defeated New York Liberty on a buzzer-beating shot this afternoon, the final day of the regular season. Yuck. The A-team playoff begins on Wednesday, much to my dismay. The Mystics Brittany Skies took an inbound pass from Tisha Cloud with 5/10 of a second left and hit the shot for a 90-88 victory. The Liberty finished at 32-8, putting them in second place. The Aces did not need to win the finale to get the top seed, but they did in a 185 victory over Phoenix to finish with the league best 34-6. The Liberty will face Washington again. New York and Washington have a few days off until facing each other again. The Liberty will host the number 17 Washington beginning Friday, and that'll be in Brooklyn. And the Mystics are 19-21, yet they still made it anyway. The Aces were the top seed last season when they won their franchise first championship. Will face the number 8 seed Chicago Sky 18-22 in their first round series. That starts Wednesday at 10 p.m. in Vegas. Other first round matchups: the Connecticut Sun 27-13 will host the Minnesota Lynx 19-21 Wednesday at 8. And the Dallas Wings number 4 at 22-18 will host the Atlanta Dream 19-21 Friday at 9:30. The first round winners will meet in a best of 5 semi-final series. Okay, on to other news of the day. Well, if you're a Joe Burrow fan, this day was one of his worst. In fact, it was the worst of his career, as he had career low 82 yards in a loss to the Browns in the Battle of Ohio. They said, just a day after he signed a record-breaking contract extension, he threw for a measly 82 yards in a 24-3 dumping over their state rival, the Browns. He completed 14 of 31 passes with no touchdowns and no interceptions. Before today, his previous low was 148 yards in 2021 in a Week 11 loss to the Raiders. This was not up to my standard, Burrow said after the game. I agree. Burrow and Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson had to contend with a wet playing field over Lake Erie. Watson was not so well either. He was 16 for 29 with 154 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Not great, folks. Not great at all. I got a good question for Saturday's show. If it's still up there. Red Sox lefty James Paxton has been placed on the 15-day injured list with a right knee inflammation, according to their manager, and is done for the year. The issue has been bothering him for some time, as they finished up a 3-game series division against the leading Orioles, that's set by manager Alex Cora. We did not look at pushing him back. At this point, I don't think it makes sense to push him back. He has been through a lot in his career. First of all, the Red Sox pushed Paxton's start to Tuesday, but then Cora decided to shut him down completely for the rest of the season. Nick Pivetta took his spot and will do so for the rest of the season. Paxton tore his UCL in April in a start with the Mariners in April of 2021. He did have surgery a week later. He had a $6 million deal offer in 2022 as he was rehabbing from Tommy John surgery. He did not pitch last season, 2022 season, as he suffered numerous setbacks while in recovery. It was good, Cora said of his season. The medical staff did an outstanding job the past 2 years to get him to the point of being one of the best pitchers in the majors. Paxton picked up his $4 million option to return this season and was 7-5 with an ERA of 4.50 in 19 starts. He was one of the league's top pitchers in June and was the AL pitcher of the month in June, going 3-0 with a 1.74 ERA in 5 starts. The Red Sox are now 7 games back for the last wildcard spot in the American League. The Buccaneers are not re-signing wide receiver Mike Evans to a contract extension, despite the four-time Pro Bowlers deadline, which was yesterday. League source told ESPN. No deal was offered in recent days, said Evans, and agent Derek Gilmore went publicly with their demands. Sources told ESPN. Evans will play out the season, um, the last before testing free agency. Free agency. The deadline passing should not affect Evans' availability to play this season. Negotiations between both parties have been ongoing the last 2 years, with both short and long-term deals proposed to extend Evans' time in Tampa beyond 10 seasons. In fact, the length of the deal was less important than the guarantees for Evans, who put emphasis on the word secure when discussing his new deal back on Thursday. For only the second time in his pro career, um, tight end Mark Andrews will miss a game due to injury. Andrew was out of today's game against the Texans with a quad injury. He was listed as questionable after being in limited practice all week. The only other time he's missed a game was a Week 9 last season with an inactive. He was inactive with shoulder and knee injuries in the Ravens' victory over the Ravens' victory. Isaiah will likely take Andrews' place. No pun intended. Lively played in 2 games when Andrews was sidelined last season and rested in Week 18. Likely had 9 catches for 127 yards and 1 touchdown. The Ravens hope that by sitting on Andrews in Week 1 will have him ready for Game 2 against the Bengals. Andrews caught 242 passes from Jackson for 3,195 yards with 27 touchdowns in the last 5 seasons. '49ers tight end George Kittle was expected to play in today's game against the Steelers. Kittle was listed as questionable with the groin injury that had been lingering for the past few weeks since their last preseason game. Despite being limited practice all week, the All-Pro tight end felt great and said he was looking forward to playing today. More than that. Kittle was entering his 4th Pro Bowl last season after he caught 60 passes for 765 yards and 11 touchdowns. Andrew Jones, who won 10 Gold Gloves in a career that began with 12 seasons with Atlanta, became the 11th player or manager to have his number retired last night. His former Braves teammates helped the honorable build momentum for Jones to enter the Baseball Hall of Fame. Jones wore number 25 jersey, was retired before last night's game against the Padres, and some believe this was long overdue. I happen to agree. It is long overdue. The center fielder played his last season in 2012 as a member of the Yankees. Of the 11 Braves members who have had the number retired, only Dale Murphy is not in the Hall of Fame. Jones received the 4th most votes from the Baseball Writers Association of America, receiving 58% of the vote, which is still not enough to enter. Players must receive at least 75% to enter the Hall of Fame. Jones played for the Braves from 1996 to 2007, and other members from that era had their numbers retired, such as Greg Max, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Chipper Jones, and manager Bobby Cox. Murphy, Glavine, and Chipper Jones attended the ceremony. And Andrew Jones is not related to Chipper Jones, in case you all were wondering. The other Braves members to have their numbers retired are Phil Niekro, Eddie Matthews, Warren Spahn, and of course, Hammerin' Hank Aaron. Can't go wrong with that, folks. Shohei Ohtani missed his 6th straight game due to a strained right oblique as the Angels faced the Guardians last night. Yeah. Before the game, infielder Luis Rengifo was placed on the injured list as out for the rest of the season with the season-ending rupture on his left bicep. his left bicep tendon, that is. He suffered the injury while taking a swing on the on deck circle on Thursday. Wow, that's an unusual way to get hit. Uh, Rengifo was batting 264 with the Angels, was the Angels' best hitter the past month. He was on a 14-game hitting streak and carried a batting average of 4.43 with 5 homers and 14 RBIs in 16 games. In the first half of the season, I fell off, he said, but then I was able to get my rhythm back. I felt a little frustrated because I wanted to get out there and play, he said, but that's the point where I am at now. Ohtani took swings on Friday, but says he was still not comfortable enough to go at full strength in the game. Manager Phil Nevin said it was questionable if Ohtani would have played today, but now there's hopeful they'll play against the Mariners tomorrow. Center fielder Mickey Monick missed his third straight game due to back tightness as day-to-day, according to Nevin. Now, despite the fact the Dodgers are doing so well, have a sizable division, they have lost 7 of their last 8, and they are 9-26 since August 1st, and that's the worst in the majors so far. Yes, even worse than the A's and the Royals. Go figure that out. Worse than that. All right, so now we'll take on some other news of the day. And it starts like this. Free agent center Boban Marjovic has agreed to a 1-year deal to return to the Rockets, said by Mike Lindenham and Jeff Schwartz of XL Sports. Magnovic was one of the most popular teammates and most marketable players in the league and is beginning his 9th season in the NBA and stays with the Rockets organization that has appreciated his presence on and off the court. He played 31 games for the Rockets last season, as played for the Spurs, Clippers, Pistons, Sixers, and the Mavericks. Okay, go down further. All right. World Basketball Championships, better known as FIBA. Germany topped Serbia in today's final, which is a far cry from where they were in the last tournament back in 2019 and finished 18th. The journey from there was what made standing on the stage, receiving their first gold medal, and finishing the tournament undefeated with an 83-77 win over Serbia. Serbia. Bench behind head coach Gordy Herbert, who hails from Canada, point guard Dennis Schroeder, and the next great German star Franz Wagner. Germany finished 8-0 in Milano, and it's in the middle of the year that started last summer in the Eurobasket tournament, and then we'll head to Paris for next summer's Olympics as a real contender. Well, what to say about that? Schroeder was the high man for Germany with 28 points and led with a high speed attack. That's what truly makes Germany a variation of the typical European power. They have an excellent big man, including NBA players Maurice Wagner and Daniel Theus, but Schroeder's speed with the ball and ability to collapse defenses entirely is a valuable weapon at this level. He did to Serbia, who took the silver medal for the second time in the last decade, though throughout the game, pushing the tempo and hunting shots repeatedly to let go things for the team. The only one that will be remembered came with 21 seconds left of regulation. Schroeder got the ball with his team up by 2, and the pressure at maximum. He held up his hand, indicating that he had with a split second, and it was a blur in going to the hoop. When he put the ball off the glass, and into the hoop a moment later. It's all Germany needed to separate. Around the play, he made three clutch free throws and ended Serbia's hoop dreams. Schroeder, who signed with the Raptors this summer, had all kinds of moments in the run, and not all of them were great. Before the tournament, he made a public spat with Mavericks forward Max Kelbar about playing for the national team because he skipped it. He skipped last summer. Kelbar did not, and Schroeder later apologized. He got into a back and forth with Herbert on the bench during the tournament, and missing 22 shots, he nearly dribbled the Siberians in a narrow quarterfinal. Yeah, but on balance, Schroeder was the driving force that carried him over from year to year. Wagner, who missed the World Cup with a sprained ankle, played three strong games in a row in the medal round. At the age of 22, he has 19 points and 7 rebounds in the final. It's unreal. And as we mentioned, Team USA comes up empty in the medal round at the FIBA World Cup tournament and loses to Canada for the bronze medal in overtime. Shai Alexander continues superstar role, scoring 7 of his 31 points in overtime that led to a 127-118 victory over the U.S. Oh boy. Dylan Brooks scored 39 points for Canada and was the highest scorer in the game. Mikal Bridges provided an iconic moment with a 4-point play as he missed a free throw intentionally, chasing down a rebound, then spinning and firing a three-pointer, with just zero point 0.6 seconds left to set up the game for overtime. It was just a reprieve, though the memory of this day will live on, as Canada got its first medal overall, period, for the first time since 1936 at the Summer Olympics. The U.S. failed to medal for the second straight World Cup. That has not happened since 1970. The U.S. was hampered by not having Brandon Ingram, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Pablo Banchero due to illness. Yeah. Uh, okay, so we'll move on. I think I had some WNBA news to mention. So let's do that. That's not what I want. And it looks like all the games have been completed for the night. Okay, so let's check out the sports page here. The Chicago Sky became the eighth and final team to enter the playoffs. Oh, I think we already did that. So that's all. That's all set up. And of course, I also believe we have U.S. Open final. Yep, the Joker. He pulled it out as one of a kind. Dvorak wins his 24th Grand Slam and won his, I think, fourth U.S. Open title. No, I'm mistaken. Defeating Daniel Medvedev in 3 sets to win the U.S. Open and claiming a historic 24th major championship. Only Margaret Court on the women's side has the same amount for singles titles in tennis history. It was the latest record-setting milestone for Dvorak, who had already topped the men's slam, has now moved one majors title ahead of Serena Williams to become the first player to win 24 in the Open era. Court also collected a total of 24, but 13 of those came before professionals were admitted to the slam events. To make history in the sport is just something truly remarkable and special. Obviously, in every possible way, in every possible meaning of the word. The second seeded Dvorak sat on the court following the win. It's hard to describe the words. Yeah, you're right. His head coach, Gordon Ivanisevic, did not have the same struggle in explaining what he believed the accomplishment meant, speaking to reporters tonight. He's a genius, said Ivanisevic said. He is one of a kind. Not too many people in the world like him, sports wise. This is one of the biggest achievements in sports history. We are not talking about tennis. We are talking generally every sport. The Joker has now won titles exactly one-third of his majors. He has played in 24 titles in 72 major appearances. He has reached the final in exactly half, 36 of the slams he's played. With his fourth title at Flushing Meadows, Dvorak joined Roger Federer as the only players on the men's side to win four or more titles at three different majors. It's, it's quite a remarkable. That's quite a remarkable recovery, accomplishment. It obviously means the world to me, said Dvorak, who will return to the number one rankings when they come out tomorrow. It will mark his 390th week at number one, the most by any ATP or WTA rankings history. Under the roof at Arthur Ashe Stadium due to rain early in the day, the captive crowd, um, which included a lengthy list of A-list celebrities, showered Dvorak with a standing ovation at the match conclusion. He visibly sobbed on the court while lying on the ground at the conclusion of the 3-hour plus match, before running over his box, which included members of his family, his team, and actor Matthew McConaughey. And I saw that. Soon Dvorak was dominating a blue T-shirt that read "Mamba Forever," a tribute to the late NBA star Kobe Bryant. On the front was a picture of Bryant and the Joker, and on the back it was purple with the number 24, one of the two numbers Bryant wore during his Hall of Fame career. Dvorak said he came up with the idea about a week ago in a way to honor his friend. He said he received advice on his own career from Bryant, who died in 2020 in a helicopter crash that also killed his daughter Gianna, and 7 others. Kobe was a close friend. We chatted a lot about the winner's mentality when I was struggling with the injury and trying to make myself come back. I worked my way to the top of the game, said Dvorak. He was one of those people that I really could count on the most. For the third time in his career, the Joker made it to the finals of all 4 majors, and adds to his victories at the Australian Open in January and the French Open in June. He lost the Wimbledon final to Carlos Alcaraz, or Alcaraz, whom will take over at the number one spot this week. Alcaraz, the defending champion at Flushing Meadows, was eliminated by number 3 seed Medvedev in the semi-finals. All right. So, congratulations on the 24 title for Djokovic. Nice going. All right. I think that'll do it for me tonight, so I'll just turn it back over to you.
All right, so that is episode 80 of True Sports. We'll be back Tuesday night at around 11:30 after Monday Night Football between the Bills and Jets. That's going to be televised on ESPN tomorrow. Ed Smith and I are going to be on tomorrow, are on the Michigan Sports Truth podcast at 10:30, recapping the Lions and Chiefs and discussing Mel Tucker being in trouble, the head coach of the Michigan State Spartans football team. Yeah, he's being investigated for sexual assault.
Oh, great.
Yeah, another coach being investigated, yet another coach being involved in a sexual assault case at Michigan State University.
Yeah, you see, sometimes it's not just the players that can be idiots; it could be the staff too.
Wow. Yeah, it could be anyone.
Yeah.
But it's only between Mel Tucker and someone else. That's it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. This time it does not involve many Larry Nassar survivors, for example.
Uh,
So
Nassar.
there, so there's that. So that
Yeah.
that clears that up. So episode 81 Tuesday night at 11:30. Until then, for Lewis, I'm Taylor. Ta ta.
Good night.